All right, so we're in the shop working today. It's the middle of winter. It's the Christmas Eve. In other words, tomorrow is Christmas Eve. It's about 35 degrees outside. I got the door shut. I had the heat on in the shop, and if you've been following my videos, you know that I heat my shop with waste oil. My thermostat's right here. It's 52 degrees in the shop currently, and my waste oil furnace just kicked off. It's probably got a plug jet, or there's a big goober on the electrode. So I'm going to take you with me upstairs to show you how I service this. I haven't done a service on it in probably a month, so we've gone through probably 50 gallons of oil. I have my oil drum right there, and I've actually gone through how the system works. But let's just go up there and take a look, and we'll see what we serve. So first part of the service is putting the ladder up because the machine is up there. So we're going to climb the ladder. Hopefully I don't fall off with the camera in my hand because that would document failure. So we climb up here above the lights. It's a lot easier to do without holding the camera. So, I forgot to mention, I forgot to mention something. I've upgraded the machine, so I'm going to talk about that in a second. This is the burner unit for my waste oil furnace. And I think I've done a couple of videos on this prior. Used to have a analog controller, which now I've upgraded to digital. You can see the little thing light up there, which is really cool, and I'll go through it once I get it running again, how that all works. Right now it's a hard lockout, which means that either the jet's plugged up or there's a bunch of oil boogers on the electrodes, which it won't light a fire. I think I've got my old fashioned, let's see here, when I upgraded. So as I was saying, I went to digital. This is the old, I think you call it a controller or thermostat, I'm not sure, had an old red button. But what is nice about the new one there is it has a timer and an automatic reset, whereas this one basically you just have to come up and press the button, so you have to climb the ladder a lot if your fire went out. So that was a nice upgrade. What's also nice about this, and I'll show you in a second, is once it gets burning, it tells me how hot the flame is. It has a flame sensor, or the capability to monitor the flame sensor, so you know if you need to lean out the mixture. Anyhow, what I'm going to do is I am going to open up the unit here. I got my flashlight so you guys can see right there. Basically, I just unplug the umbilical, which is the main power cord, which shuts the unit off, and then there's one nut that I have on the top here, and I just swing the whole unit out of the way. Like that. Oh yeah, there's a huge goober on there. Let's see. Hold on a second while I get my bungee cord on here. Sorry about that. So if you look, focus in on that. See that big old goober right here? That's why it wasn't running. They get that on the electrodes like that and it won't fire good. So that's probably all that's wrong with it. But we'll do a complete service on it because I haven't done it in a while. What I do is I clean the fire ring, pull the jet out, blow some carb cleaner through it, and then take a little 3M and clean off those electrodes. So hang tight, we'll do that. Okay, so we're back. So I just pulled the jet and the jet holder out of the assembly, and all I'm simply going to do, I don't think I can do this while holding the camera, is take a little brake clean like that, and I just back flush it. Basically put a little focus camera. It's having a hard time here. Okay, well, the oil comes out of this end of the nozzle, and I just blow back through it to clean out any crud. I'm going to give these electrodes a little 3M polish and clean up the air reluctor ring, I think is what it's called, and put it back together. So I can't unfortunately do that while I have my hands holding the camera, so hang on just a second. Okay, so we're back doing our service on our clean burn waste oil furnace here. I pulled the jet and the jet holder out right there, back flushed it, took a little 3M pad like this, a red one, and polished the electrodes so that we can get good spark. And now I'm just going to put the air reluctor, I think it's called the air reluctor back in it, like that. Just pops in. And I'll remove my bungee cord here. Any oil, have a little drip pan there that leaked out when I pulled the jet out, so that's contained. And what I'm going to do is swing the burner unit back into place, like that. Put my nut back on it so it kind of keeps the burner from popping out. I've got to push on this a little bit, there, and then hook my umbilical back up. And you'll see the green light just pop back on. That means we're warm, or that the heater element block is on. Now, looking at the screen here, let's see if I can focus. So you can see it says hard lockout. So I'm going to hold the information button down. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. We've got oil there. And we've got air, and now we got fire. There she goes. So she just lit off, and she's making heat. Now what I like about this new controller here, the digital one, so I just clicked it off. It was burning. You can see it's going to recycle in, what, 54 seconds, 53 seconds. I'm going to reset that. We can actually watch how hot the flame is. There we go. We've got ignition. Having a little hard time. So you can see the ohms there, way lean. Should be down below 1,000. It's running, but there's still something plugged in the jet, so I'm going to have to take it apart again and see what's going on. I could compensate for that by giving it more oil pressure, but that's not what we want to do. So hang on a second, I'm going to pull it back apart and see if we can get it running a little better. Okay, so we're doing a little maintenance on the waste oil furnace, and as I just showed, the ohm reading or the burn was too lean. So I took the jet back out again, and the jet consists of 3 parts. Jet holder, the jet itself, and the nozzle. So I'm going to give it a little better cleaning job. What I'm going to do is back flush this tiny little orifice in that jet. I wish my camera would focus. There we go. You can see how small that is. Maybe you can't. Yeah, it's tiny. And put it back together and we'll try it again. Okay, so we just finished putting our clean jet back in, our cleaned electrodes, and our cleaned air, we call it air, I forget what you call that thing, diverter or something like that. Kind of makes a rifle motion for the air that comes through it. And we're going to put it back together and see how she fires up. So put the unit back in there, get my nut back on. Again, we're servicing the clean burn oil furnace, waste oil furnace, I should say. It's hard for me to multitask here. Okay, so now we've got a recycle light, and what we're looking for here before I hit this button, because we won't have a lot of time, is about 1 pound of oil pressure, roughly 20 pounds of air pressure, and on this screen here it's going to have an ohm reading, and the ohm reading should be 600, 700 for a nice hot burn. And we can also verify that by looking in the little sight glass. So I'm going to go ahead and reset it, and it's probably loud. If it's firing really well, it's going to roar. So we've got it. We've got 1 second. Okay, so we've got 695, 678, 715. That's about what we want. We can fine tune that a little bit, but we want it right around 700. Perfect. If it goes into 600, that's fine too. So she's running hot perfectly right now. If I was to open that up, you'd see a nice flame, a furry flame. And we'll have heat. We'll be warm in the shop for the rest of the day. Like I say, I got to do that about once a month. Every now and then there's a little tiny piece of crud that gets stuck in the jet. I never see what it looks like, but it's there. And it's nice having basically free fuel for my heat. It's a little bit of work because I got to mess with it, but it's worth it. So it's 52 degrees in the shop right now. And that thing will have a 10-degree rise here in probably 45 minutes, so it's hot. All right, thanks for watching me do a little maintenance on the clean burn waste oil furnace.